5 biggest Georgie and Mandy's first marriage questions that need answers in 2025. When young Sheldon wrapped up in 2024, fans thought they'd said goodbye to the Cooper family for good. Then CBS surprised audiences by fast-tracking Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, a spin-off sitcom set in the mid to late 1990s that finally puts Sheldon's older brother and his fiancée-turned-wife center stage. While Sheldon and his mother Mary cast long shadows over the original show, this new spin-off hands Georgie and Mandy the narrative keys, exploring their relationship, marriage struggles, and parenthood. But with the promise of fresh stories comes a series of burning questions. The timeline, tone, and direction of the spin-off leave a lot of room for exploration, and fans are already wondering what mysteries 2025 will resolve. From the fate of side characters to the dynamics of Georgie and Mandy's evolving relationship, here are the 5 biggest Georgie and Mandy's first marriage questions that need answers this year. 1. Will Georgie and Mandy's marriage last? Or is the title a spoiler? The elephant in the room is right there in the title. First marriage. That single phrase suggests Georgie and Mandy's union won't last forever. It's an intriguing choice by CBS. Why plant doubt in viewers' minds before the show even begins? On young Sheldon, Georgie stepped into fatherhood faster than expected, taking responsibility for baby Cease while still learning what it meant to grow up himself. Mandy, older and wiser, often seemed more grounded, though she clearly had affection for Georgie's goofy charm. But real marriages are messy, and sitcoms thrive on that tension. The question for 2025 is how much of the show will lean into this possible impermanence. Will First Marriage depict a story of love undone by immaturity? Or will it treat the title more ironically, suggesting a couple who almost falls apart but ultimately grows stronger? Perhaps the writers plan to dramatize Georgie's later divorce, which Sheldon vaguely referenced on The Big Bang Theory, making this spin-off both a comedy and a tragedy in disguise. Fans want clarity. Is this show building toward heartbreak, or is CBS pulling a bait and switch? 2. How much will Sheldon, Missy, and Mary appear? A spin-off set in the Cooper household can't completely ignore the rest of the family. But just how much of Sheldon, Missy, and Mary's lives will bleed into Georgie and Mandy's show? By the time the series picks up, Sheldon should be preparing for college at Caltech, and Missy is entering her own teenage rebellion era. Mary, reeling from George S.R.'s death, faces the task of keeping what's left of the family afloat. This timeline overlap is ripe for crossovers, but it raises the question, how much will the spin-off indulge in Cooper family storytelling versus carving out its own identity? Fans don't want First Marriage to become Young Sheldon Season 8 with a different title. Still, completely shutting out Sheldon and Missy would feel unnatural. Occasional cameos, maybe a long-distance call from Caltech or Missy showing up to babysit Cease, could offer a sweet balance. In 2025, viewers will want to know if the spin-off is truly Georgie and Mandy's show, or if CBS intends to keep riding the broader Cooper nostalgia train. 3. What kind of father will Georgie become? Georgie's arc in Young Sheldon was one of the most heartwarming, the immature older brother slowly realizing he had the capacity to step up for his daughter. But sitcom logic means that being a dad is both a responsibility and a source of comedic chaos. The question for First Marriage is whether Georgie can truly balance his youthful personality with fatherhood. Mandy, more pragmatic, may want him to grow up faster, while Georgie, ever the hustler, will likely be juggling odd jobs, big dreams, and questionable schemes. Will he succeed in giving Cease stability, or will his immaturity strain the family? There's also the bigger thematic angle. In The Big Bang Theory, Sheldon rarely mentioned his niece. That absence has sparked speculation. Did Georgie lose touch with Cease? Did their relationship sour? Or did the writers of the original show just overlook her existence? Fans hope First Marriage will answer not just how Georgie behaves as a new father in the moment, but also what kind of long-term parent he becomes. The stakes are high. Audiences want to see growth, but not at the expense of Georgie's fun-loving charm. 4. Will Mandy get the spotlight she deserves? Though Mandy was introduced late in Young Sheldon, she quickly became a fan favorite. Smart, witty, and refreshingly no-nonsense, she balanced Georgie's immaturity with her grounded perspective. But as the spin-off shifts focus, the big question is whether Mandy will continue to shine as her own character, not just as Georgie's wife. The promise of First Marriage lies in its dual perspective, Georgie's chaos and Mandy's pragmatism. Mandy deserves her own storylines beyond motherhood, perhaps exploring her career ambitions, friendships, and what it means to marry into the unpredictable Cooper family. In 2025, fans will want to see if CBS avoids the trap of turning Mandy into the sitcom's nagging wife trope. Instead, can she remain multidimensional, funny, vulnerable, and independent? Her perspective could be the key to making First Marriage more than just another family sitcom. 5. How much will the show lean into 1990s nostalgia? One of young Sheldon's biggest strengths was its period detail. From its late 80s fashion to its nods at technological milestones, it created a nostalgic world that felt authentic but never overwhelming. With First Marriage moving into the mid to late 90s, the spinoff has an opportunity to mine nostalgia in new ways. Fans are already speculating about possible callbacks: Georgie hustling bootleg CDs, Mandy rolling her eyes at AOL dial-up, or Cease growing up with toys like Tamagotchis and Beanie Babies. The 90s setting could also provide a comedic backdrop to Georgie's entrepreneurial streak. Maybe he tries to cash in on .com mania or gets caught up in pyramid schemes. The big question is balance. Will the spin-off simply pepper episodes with "Remember This" jokes, or will it use the era to tell stories about real cultural shifts? For example, how does a young couple navigate money, parenting, and dreams of success at a time when technology and culture are rapidly changing? 2025 should reveal whether First Marriage is just a nostalgia machine, or if it can genuinely use its setting to enrich Georgie and Mandy's journey. Why these questions matter? At its core, Georgie and Mandy's first marriage represents a bold experiment. CBS is betting that audiences who once tuned in for Sheldon's quirks are now invested enough in Georgie's grounded, comedic struggles to stick around. But spin-offs live or die by their ability to justify their existence. If First Marriage can answer these 5 big questions, it has a real shot at becoming more than just the young Sheldon sequel. Instead, it could emerge as its own beloved sitcom, blending humor, heart, and just enough nostalgia to capture both longtime fans and new viewers. Final thoughts. As 2025 unfolds, all eyes are on Georgie and Mandy. Will they prove that love and laughter can survive the chaos of young parenthood? Or will their first marriage be just that, a fleeting chapter in the sprawling Cooper family saga? For now, fans can only speculate. But one thing is certain, this spinoff has inherited a legacy from young Sheldon and The Big Bang Theory. The answers to these lingering questions will determine whether Georgie and Mandy carve out a sitcom future as bright as Sheldon's, or if their first marriage is remembered more for what it set up than for what it delivered. Would you like me to make this read more like a funny/entertaining pop culture blog, lots of snappy jokes, light sarcasm, or keep it in this more analytical/TV critic style? As 2025 unfolds, all eyes are on Georgie and Mandy. Will they prove that love and laughter can survive the chaos of young parenthood? Or will their first marriage be just that, a fleeting chapter in the sprawling Cooper family saga? For now, fans can only speculate. But one thing is certain, this spinoff has inherited a legacy from young Sheldon and The Big Bang Theory. The answers to these lingering questions will determine whether Georgie and Mandy carve out a sitcom future as bright as Sheldon's, or if their first marriage is remembered more for what it set up than for what it delivered. Would you like me to make this read more like a funny/entertaining pop culture blog, lots of snappy jokes, light sarcasm, or keep it in this more analytical/TV critic style?